Yay! And we are live. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope you are all well. I am doing well. It is very warm here in the Northeast where I am, and that's okay. I will take all the sun and the warmth. I love it. So, welcome to the Awareness Zone, episode 29, where I'm talking about belonging and relationships. Because this month I've been talking about what I call the spheres of sanctuary. These are the three areas that you need to have balance in order to begin creating change in your life, because I'm all about helping people create change. But these are the three areas of your life that really have to be sort of at least addressed and in order in some way in order for you to begin self-actualizing and creating conscious change in your life. So last week I talked about safety, and I really just addressed it was basic stuff. It was shelter, food, water, employment, money, physical safety, that sort of thing. So I covered that in last week's video, so you can go back and watch that if you missed that. This week I am talking about belonging. And I want to be clear about the term belonging, because to me, belonging is finding a place where you feel accepted and you accept others as they are, and that you're not, none of you are hiding who you really are, or you're trying to fit in, or you're trying to like conform to societal norms. Belonging is you just knowing that when you show up to this place, you can be you and everyone else can be themselves, and it all works just so beautifully. So that's what I mean when I say belonging. Um, so belonging can take many forms, and can be found in various contexts. So here are some of the different types of belonging, and I just want to cover them because sometimes people think, well, I just have a couple of friends and that's fine. But there are a lot of other ways to belong, right? So belonging can be, of course, family belonging, the family unit, parents, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, extended family. Um, that's the obvious one. Then we have community belonging. This is the type of belonging that's you found like with neighborhoods, spiritual groups, social clubs, cleaning up the neighborhoods, that sort of thing. Then there's cultural belonging, and this is being rooted in a shared culture, traditions, and practices, whether it's your race, ethnicity, your language, your nationality, any of those things. Bonding with others who are from that culture can be a very deep belonging. Workplace belonging is also a good one. So our coworkers, right? I have worked with some of the most incredible people that have really enriched my life so much. So I feel very grateful for that. And these are just people we work with, and whether it's we work with them in our office personally, or maybe they're contractors that work with us, or customers and clients, that sort of work. Bonding and belonging is very special and very important, and is going to come in next week when I talk about validation. Hobbies or interest belonging, right? So belonging to a group of people who share interests and things you like to do in your spare time, sports teams, book club, music, any sort of exercising you do, that sort of thing. And then there is online belonging. And that sort of happened in the last few decades, as once the interwebs became a thing for us. So there are online communities that you can bond with, social groups, forums, virtual gaming, all sorts of things that actually are quite rich in belonging. And so we definitely don't want you to write that off, especially if you are someone from like a boomer or the Gen Xer like myself, excuse me, and you have kids, and we did not grow up with the internet and having online belonging and friendships like that, but they are pretty rich and important these days, and it's not something that we should just poo-poo. It's something that we should honor and try to understand as best we can. So famous author and speaker Brene Brown talks about the importance of belonging a lot, right? Human connection, the need for human thriving and evolution. And she emphasizes the fact that our need for belonging is deeply rooted in our biology and our early survival as a species, aka the saber-toothed tiger, starvation, etc. So I have an example for you. I have a client who had been struggling with showing up authentically with people, especially the people she belonged with, because most of whom, there was a very small group and she lived with most of them. And because she didn't have any other places where she felt she belonged, she was constantly worried that if she expressed her feelings or her opinions and they didn't like it, or they had differing opinions, that maybe they wouldn't want to live with her anymore, right? So, AKA, she'd be kicked out of the tribe. So, this goes back to safety. So, belonging is directly correlated to safety, because if you feel you belong, you feel safe. But if you're not sure that you can be yourself, accepted for who you are, that's a lack of safety, right? And that's an imbalance, and you can't evolve and step into who you are if you are terrified of expressing yourself, because you feel you're going to be kicked out. And this client, this was her living situation, so this was very much tied to her safety. Luckily, she had a lot of wonderful conversations with her people, and they worked through it, and she is broadening her network. And we worked together. We sort of made a list of places that she could go and things that she could do that would enrich her life, and it would broaden her network and allow her to feel belonging in multiple areas, as well. So in addition to just the safety connection, I also want to talk about the stress that a limited belonging can put on relationships, right? So if we only have one or two people and we're relying on them, that can put a really, really heavy burden on those relationships. It can be really draining to be on the receiving end of someone who only has you, or you and a couple other people in their life. It makes others feel that you're needy, or clingy, or high maintenance. You may feel that people are always abandoning you, or nobody likes you. And it could very well be that you are asking too much of your relationships. You don't have enough relationships to sort of spread that support need around to. So having that wider base of people to feel supported by allows for breathing room in the relationships you do have. One person cannot be everything to you, nor can you be everything to one person, because sometimes we feel that we just want to be that everything to somebody, and that is smothering, and it's just not possible. This is why we are meant to live among and with each other. We're meant to share our energy and our light with many, not just one or two. So I want to give an example that I have of someone who really has embraced and lived this belonging and bringing in the many. And it was someone that I had the very great pleasure of being raised by. It's my mom. She set an amazing example, and she still does to this day. She creates just group after group. She gathers people in very different aspects. She is a sculptor. She was a dog sitter. She was a teacher. She was part of Rotary. She's involved in so many things, and she always has a group of people, many groups of people from different walks of life, neighbors, all people, and she gathers them, and she bonds with them and celebrates with them, and really creates this network of safety for herself that she can draw upon to have support. And I watched that growing up, and I have to say, I probably am not even as good at it as she is. She's amazing at the creating this belonging for herself, to create that place where she can just know that she always has a place to go for support, or that she can be that support for a lot of different people, because that is also one of her gifts, is providing support to others. So belonging in groups is just delightful to give and to take as well. Some people say, though, you can't possibly have meaningful relationships or meaningful connections when you have so many people. And I do hear that a lot. And, I have to say, I kind of disagree, because meaningful doesn't necessarily mean that that person knows everything about you and has intimate knowledge of your life from the minute you were born to this very second right now. Meaningful can absolutely be a connection with a hobby, enjoying a lighter, broader conversation on topics that don't necessarily relate to you so personally. And these types of relationships offer a level of support that is different, but just as important. They provide perspective. Plus, when a relationship wanes, runs its course, ends, you aren't left feeling abandoned because it wasn't your sole source of belonging. You have other groups. You have others to turn to while you're awaiting the next relationship that's coming in, whatever that looks like, whether that's going to be from your church, your work, a friend, a romantic partner, a child, whatever that's going to be, because relationships do run their course. They come and they go. So I just want to sort of plant those seeds for you to seek belonging in all forms. So this is an opportunity for you to sort of step back and look and see where your belonging is. How many different groups and areas do you feel that you truly belong? If you feel that you have a tremendous amount of places to go, bravo. That's amazing. It's amazing that you are getting that support and also giving that support to so many people. If you find that maybe your circle is a little small and limited, you might want to take a look at that and see why is that and how could you maybe broaden that for yourself, because I promise you it will enrich your life tremendously and leave you feeling more supported, and safer. You'll have less anxiety and depression because you're not feeling alone in the world. You understand that you have people who get you in a lot of different ways, right? So I just want you to take a look at that and think about it. And next week, I am going to be talking about validations, the final circle of this trilogy of the spheres of sanctuary, as I call them. So validation is a big one as well. So I hope you are enjoying my trilogy here, and leave in the comments what you think, what you thought, how many groups you belong to. If I miss anything as far as like where you want to belong or where you do belong, drop hints and suggestions for people. And I hope you have a phenomenal evening. And glad that you will belong in this community with me. I'm so happy to have you all here. Have a great night.